Hello, my name is Michael Williams and thank you for watching this video. Do you struggle with fear of public speaking? That is, you become very anxious when you need to present in front of groups, when you need to explain things, perhaps in a meeting, when you have to do interviews, when you speak with people in authority. Do you feel anxious? Do you feel kind of fearful? And is your speech affected by that? Do you struggle with situational stuttering? Meaning, when you're in those high pressure situations, you begin speaking choppy. Your thinking gets kind of foggy. You're not able to say what you want to say. You start anticipating words that you're going to have problems with and you get stuck. Important things like saying your name, saying where you work, or explaining things. You anticipate, see those words coming, and then get stuck. Does your breathing get shallow, kind of run out of breath? Your vocal cords kind of close up, can't say anything. Are you tired after speaking, right? Does this happen to you? If it does, I want you to stick with me for the next several minutes so that I can share with you something that I believe can change your life. The first thing that I want you to know is that for many, many years, more than 20 years, I struggled with stuttering. And stuttering sometimes could be severe or it could be mild, meaning there were times when I literally would bite my tongue and it would start to bleed because I was stuttering. I was trying to get it out so much, and I would do funny things with my face, especially on the phone. And if you've never struggled with that, then you won't understand. But if you have, then you will. This was something that was a part of my life, and so I saw myself as this person that struggled with their speech from the time that I was in first or second grade, just all the way up past well into my 20s. And some of you may not believe that, and you'll say, oh, well, Michael, okay, I don't believe that. Show me a video. Well, I don't even think my parents even had a video, and they certainly would not have recorded me stuttering, so that doesn't make any sense to even say something like that. But I want you to know that I understand where you're coming from if you struggle with stuttering and if you struggle with fear of public speaking. Maybe you don't struggle with stuttering at all, it's just fear of public speaking. I want to share with you an opportunity that you can take advantage of to help you move beyond that. You see, you are probably an extremely intelligent person that has a great deal of potential. You have insight, you have information, you have knowledge, you have skills, you have dreams, you have things that you want to do. You may want to be in a speaking profession where you need to speak for a living. You may want to be a teacher. You may want to be in ministry. You may want to be a salesperson. Right? You may want to be a coach or a public speaker. But fear of public speaking or stuttering has been holding you back. Maybe you are a professional right now and you know that you've kind of reached the ceiling in your career because you're not able to speak with confidence and authority because of this fear or stuttering, right? Or fear and stuttering, right? So you know that you've got to do something about it, and that's why you're watching this video. Now you may be wondering, well, Michael, are you a licensed speech therapist, and how do you know what you're talking about? Maybe you're just one of those great motivational speakers and you're just trying to get my money. And that's legitimate because you don't know me, right? And there are many people out there who are great talkers, they got great website, they got awesome marketing, and they draw you in, they get you to pay for stuff, and then they don't deliver the results. So what I want to do is I want to put you at ease in a couple of different ways. There's nothing I could say, and there's nothing really I'd want to say to try to convince or persuade you otherwise. I want you to do that for yourself. I want you to search the internet for my reputation. Now, of course, there's going to be people that might say all kinds of things out there. But from what I can gather, I have a pretty good, solid reputation, right? And I've been doing this for a few years. So if I were screwing people over, you would know about it. You would know about it, and I would probably know about it. A pretty good reputation. Number two, I'm not a speech therapist, nor do I want to be. I have great respect for them, and they do important work. They do some work that I can't do. They work with people that I don't work with. I'm a speech coach. I'm a specialist in this area. I'm a coach. I don't help you to stop stuttering. What I help you do is become an exceptional speaker, an excellent speaker, and a superior presenter. And that's one of the things that differentiates me from other people in this field. My goal for you is not that you stop stuttering, right? You're saying, well, so what is this all about then? My goal for you is that you become an excellent speaker, a superior communicator. Why? Because imagine you go into an interview and there are two people, equally qualified, same race, same ethnicity, right? So everything is pretty much the same. They're just not you, but everything else is pretty much the same. And one person doesn't stutter, but they're okay. This other person is an exceptional speaker, an exceptional communicator. All things being equal, who's going to get the job? The person that just doesn't stutter, but maybe they're not the greatest speaker, or the person that's an exceptional speaker? Probably the person that's an exceptional speaker, right? Why? Because of their ability to communicate, to captivate, to grab attention, to speak with confidence and authority and clarity, okay? So my goal for you is that, not just to not stutter. The other thing is that if you focus on what you don't want, I don't want to stutter, you're working in futility. You're probably going to get more of that. This is such a massive change in your mindset, in your beliefs, and in your behaviors. Is such a massive change that if you focus on how you speak and how you say certain words, and if you just focus on breathing, you're going to miss out on the global work that you have to do, which means there are some mindset changes that you're going to have to make. There are some belief changes. Let me give you an example. If you believe that you have to rush, that you have to respond, that you have to hurry up and speak up right now, that belief will prevent you from making the necessary changes that you need to make to your speech. I see it all the time, right? So you got to change that belief along with perhaps the way that you actually speak. What's another one? If you believe that you're always going to be a stutterer, no matter what you do, no matter what you try, guess what? You're always going to struggle with stuttering. Or if you believe you're always going to have this fear of public speaking, you're never really, because you're shy, you're always going to have that fear no matter what you try, right? So it's critically important that you work the mindset, that you work the beliefs, along with some of the behaviors. And what do we mean when we say behaviors? We mean literally creating a new style of speaking. Some of you have a habit of speaking in a very choppy manner, of cutting off your words, of starting and stopping. Yes, we work on that. Some of you have a habit of not maintaining good airflow while you're speaking. You're starting and you're stopping, your breathing is short. So yes, in that sense, we do have to work on your breathing. But only as it is relevant to, only as it applies to your entire speaking style. We don't just isolate and work on one little thing. We work on everything, your mindset, your beliefs, and your speaking style all together. I've literally spent thousands of hours working with clients one-on-one from around the world, and many of my clients, English is their second language. So people say, well, does this translate into my other language? Yes, it usually does. Can't guarantee that it will, but with my other clients, it has. I've spent thousands of hours looking at them, observing them, coaching them. So besides my own personal experience, right, being able to become an excellent speaker, but I've helped other people. Now you might be asking, well, Michael, do you have 100% success? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Just going to be honest with you, right? There's no need in lying. Nobody has 100% success. And I'm not going to say nobody. Maybe there are people that do. I don't know of any. So I'm going to be honest. Now, I will tell you that the vast majority, well, way up into the 90s, improved their speech dramatically. And there are, I say, most of my clients do extremely, their lives completely change. they get better jobs. They get jobs that they couldn't get before. Their relationships change. Their interactions, right, with other people change. They're able to say what they want to say. Those people do certain things. I'm going to tell you exactly what they do and why this is important. They learn, they practice, and they use what they practice in real life under pressure. Those are the three requirements of this speech system. Those are the three things you're required to do if you want to make this work. In addition to that, it's required that you immerse yourself, in this process. Let me tell you what it's like. I'm going to give you two examples. Continue to follow me because this is important. If you want to improve your speech and you want to improve your life, you'll watch this video. You'll watch it. Immersion. I am learning a second language, Spanish. And I noticed over the years that when I immerse myself, that is when I watch Spanish TV, listen to Spanish music, and I'm around people speaking Spanish all the time, my Spanish gets extremely fluent. When I dabble in it, meaning I don't watch, maybe I listen, but I don't hardly talk to them in Spanish, then I begin to lose my facility to speak Spanish fluently. Now, if I immersed myself long enough, then I'd probably have that facility long term, right? If I did it long enough, several months to a year, I'd probably have. But then if I totally got out of it, I'd probably lose some of it. So you have to immerse yourself in this process. What's this process? This process is speech is a skill that you can learn, and it's a habit. Speaking well is a habit that you can develop. If it weren't, then children wouldn't learn how to speak, right? They wouldn't speak in certain ways. Children mimic and model people that they're around. They have certain accents, certain ways of speaking. Why? Habitual patterns, things that they learn. If you couldn't learn to speak well, then there wouldn't be workshops and seminars and schools to help you improve your speaking skills. You wouldn't be able to learn a second language or a third language. I know, I talk to people. I talked to one guy that knows 7 languages. He's a PhD. He works as a scientist. He knows several languages. So speaking and improving your ability to speak well is a learnable skill, and it's also a habit or a pattern. If you believe that, then you will understand that this approach can and will help you create a new speaking style that's smoother, that's clearer, that's more confident, right? That's more authoritative, okay? It's more fluent. You can do it. It doesn't matter if stuttering is genetic. It doesn't matter if there's something that's not firing quite correctly in your brain. That doesn't matter. The brain is able to reconstitute other areas of the brain to come in and take over where maybe something's not firing quite right. There have been stroke victims who've lost the faculty of their speech, and they have been able to retrain themselves to speak well. There are people who've stuttered who've been able to retrain their brain so that they can speak not just well, but extremely well. I happen to be one of those people. I've retrained my brain so that I can not just present well, but I can converse well. I can do whatever I want. Does that mean I never get stuck? No. But other people get stuck too. Watch how people speak around you, and you'll see that they too stumble over their words. They use a lot of filler words. Like, and they're getting, but they're just, maybe not for the same reason, but they're still getting stuck. They're stumbling over their speech. They're starting and they're stopping. They're going back. No one speaks perfectly smoothly, right? So you have to stop this thinking that we're trying to go for perfect speech, because no one speaks perfectly. You accept those little times when you get stuck and you view it and react to it differently. So this process will help you respond to those few times where you do get stuck differently. You won't be down on yourself. You won't think about it forever. Oh God, I got stuck again, or oh, I'm going to get stuck. No, we change that way of thinking. You learn how to speak well. You learn how to speak smoothly. You practice it. If you don't practice it, just like immersing yourself in a new language, if you don't practice it, how can you expect to speak well? Then, here's the last one. You have to use it under pressure. You can learn it and you can practice it, but if you don't use it under pressure, Let's say making phone calls has been an issue for you. If you don't pick up that phone and start making phone calls and start using what you learn, it's not going to work. The same thing as my language skills. If I don't actually go out and try to speak Spanish to real live people, I'm not really going to be able to speak it as fluently as I'd like, right? Initially, yeah, I'm going to be nervous and afraid. I'm going to mess up. But if I keep doing it, I desensitize myself and I begin to be able to use what I've learned and practiced. Now, here's the last thing I'll tell you about this system and this approach. If you really want to reach a level of what we call automaticity and normalcy, right? You're going to automatize and normalize your speech where you're not thinking about speaking. You're just speaking. You're saying whatever you want to say. If you want to get to that point, what do you have to do? You have to immerse yourself. Meaning, every time you speak, you must remind yourself to use this new speaking style. If you find yourself anticipating, oh, I'm going to get stuck, then you have to bring it back and say, no, I'm an excellent speaker. I'm going to be able to say this well. You have to do that all the time. You have to try to do that all the time. That's immersing yourself, right? You have to listen to, you have to watch things that are helping you build your new speaking style all the time. How long do you have to do it, you say? You do it until you don't have to do it anymore. The same thing with the language. The same thing with a baby learning to walk. How long does the baby have to practice learning to walk before it doesn't have to practice and it's just walking? It just does it until all of a sudden it becomes automatic and natural. How long do I have to practice speaking Spanish? Until it becomes fluent, where I no longer have to think about and translate. I have to do it until it becomes automatic and normal and natural. How long will that take? Who knows? Doesn't matter. If I want to achieve that goal, I have to just continue to do it until it becomes automatic. Does that make sense? So, why am I telling you all of this? I'm telling you because I want you to have access to a system that will help to get you to where you want to go, that will help open up opportunities for you, to help you realize your potential, realize your dreams, to help you give back to others. You've got stuff that other people need. You've got advice that other people need. There are people waiting on you to touch their lives, right? To reach them. And if your speech is limited and if your confidence is low, you won't reach them.